If you're a beginner photographer who's trying to capture some stunning images at New York Fashion Week, or any other fashion show for that matter, this is the video for you. If you're wondering why you should listen to me, my name is Dane. I've been a photographer for over 10 years, and I recently got the chance to go to New York Fashion Week and get some dope photos. But as a first-time shooter, I noticed some things, and I feel like this video is going to be crucial for anybody that's trying to do the same thing. Alright, so the first thing I'm going to touch on is arrival time. Now, seeing that this was my first fashion week, I wasn't sure of what time to arrive. I was booked for a 9 p.m. show, so I didn't get there till around 8 or 8:30. I think I got there probably like 8:20 or something like that. But what I can definitely say to you is arriving early is super important. When you're doing any kind of stage show, concert photography, or fashion show, being early is going to be like probably one of the most important factors, because you're going to have people that are there from like the start of the event, and they're going to pick the best spots, and they're going to basically stay there for the entire time. So if you want to get some dope shots, you have to get there early. And I don't mean 50 minutes early, even like an hour, 2 hours. Personally, I'd say get there even 2 to 3 hours before, so you can pick your best spots, see where the lighting hits, see how the stage is set up. Because trust me, like once it starts, you're going to be so wedged up you won't be able to move. So if you don't get that spot, you're basically going to be like stuck wherever you get. So get there super early, play around with spots, see which spots you like, see if you can even move during, and that's going to be super crucial. Trust me, you don't want to get there late. My next point, which is going to be fairly obvious, but for those of you who aren't familiar, you should shoot a fashion show with a zoom lens. Now, I saw persons at the event with prime lenses, I saw them with kit lenses, and I can't even imagine how stressed out they would have been. Because yes, you're at a fixed spot, but having the ability to zoom your lens while you're on shoots like that are going to be extremely important. With fashion shows, they are a very fast-paced event, especially New York Fashion Week, and you won't get time for do-overs. So the ability to quickly punch in on your lens is going to be super crucial. The fact that, you know, models are going to be walking, you want to be able to start from wide, or start punched in and then zoom out as they get closer to you, because there's a very limited window of opportunity. The shows last probably like 10 minutes per designer. So if you don't get those shots, and if you miss a shot, then you're almost screwed. So it's very important for you to have a zoom lens so you can, you know, come in and out. If you like to shoot prime, I would say, you know, go for it. But personally, I would not go into any fashion show without a zoom lens. I think it's going to be super crucial for you. All right, my next point is going to be experiment with your angles. I noticed a lot of persons got there early and decided to go to the end of the pit and basically just stay there and get the same shots for the entirety of the show. Personally, for me, I mean, if you're working for a brand and that's what they tell you to do, then sure. But if you're going there as an individual photographer, I feel like that's where you need to let your creativity shine. You don't have to stay one place the entire time. You don't have to shoot all the shots straight forward. You can, you know, put the crowd in some of the shots. You can, you know, get details. Like, experiment with what you're getting. Don't be one-dimensional, because at the end of the day, you are trying to showcase your creativity, especially if you're into fashion photography. So don't just have all the shots being the same dead-on shot with the same thing in all the backgrounds. You know, experiment, play around. That's how you're going to stand out. That's how you're going to make like your special mark. So definitely experiment when it comes to those angles and those shots. All right, another point I need to touch on is your shutter speed. Now listen, fashion week, fashion shows, super fast-paced event, shoot at extremely high shutter speeds. For me, I was shooting almost everything at least 500, and I went even as far as to 800. Well, actually I went even as far as to 1000. The reason for this is because you don't want to get any kind of blurry photos. The models will not slow down for your pace. You need to capture what they're doing and freeze their motion. So you have to shoot everything at high shutter speeds. They aren't going to be well, I didn't notice any flash photography there. For New York Fashion Week in particular, I think flash photography was banned, but there was decent lighting. They won't always be like perfectly lit based on where they are, but there are particular areas on the stage where the lighting is good. I'd say, you know, adjust your shutter appropriately based on where they are, but you really don't want to go too low, because trust me, you want to freeze that motion, you want to capture that shot, you want to capture as much shots as possible. So shooting with a high shutter speed is going to be very crucial. The last tip I'm going to leave with you is to ensure that you are on a drive mode. So yes, you want to have a high shutter, but something that I noticed a lot of persons were doing, which I thought was, you know, not the smartest thing to do, was shooting in a, you know, a single burst mode. Basically, the camera takes one picture of the shutter. I think if you're shooting fashion photography, you should be at least on a low drive mode where once you hold on the shutter, your camera is taking multiple images. Your first shot might not be perfect and you don't have time to be reposing the models. So you need to be taking as much shots as possible. You will find that you will easily go through memory cards because you're taking so many shots, but you never know which shot might be the special shot. So you have to just be prepared for that. And since I just touched on that in terms of drive modes, also have lots of memory cards. You're gonna need lots of memory cards because for me, I only did maybe the last 3 to 4 designers, and I took maybe 1,000 pictures. So you can imagine for somebody that was there for the entire day, because again, you just have to be clicking. You're gonna find that some of them aren't good, but a lot of them are gonna be very solid, especially if you're experimenting with your angles. So you don't want to miss anything. So yeah, definitely take that in mind. So if you have any questions, let me know in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, the YouTube algorithm says you're gonna love this video right here.